They know the consequences of you waking up to your greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Of us waking up to when we wake up to our greatness, we're not gonna deal with this shit. And that's the whole thing, is that people don't look at. They're trying to suppress your greatness.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to make you lose your mind, because spiritually, like you were talking about earlier, that DNA is passed down.
Yeah, man.
And when you're sitting there suppressing that DNA, it actually will drive you crazy, because you know that this ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
I should not be letting these people beat my women. I should not let, if a black man is on the street and a black woman is on the street, she should feel safe no matter who that black man is.
100%, yeah.
That should be, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if it's a cop or a Klansman or a college professor or a store bearer. Let me teach you what you are as a warrior. Because they don't get that, they end up trying to get it themselves. And let me teach you, nobody is teaching them that they don't want to be a peaceful spirit that dwells in peaceful body that can be taken advantage of.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And because nobody is teaching them that this is your way. Come here, let me teach you 52 blocks. Let me teach you Dambe. Let me teach you Bore. Let me teach you Capoeira. Let me teach you what you are as a warrior. Because they don't get that, they end up trying to get it themselves, and you get that through the gang culture.
Peace and blessings, fam. This is Brother Rob here, Ijikadi, Afrikan Martial Arts. So hey guys, real quick, I just learned the news of our dear brother, Diallo Fraizer, his ascension, his passing from this lifetime into the next. I don't know. I think a lot of us are very shocked. I was certainly very shocked, surprised. I actually never had the chance to meet Brother Fraizer or train with him or anything like that. So, I'm not coming on here, from the standpoint of I knew the brother personally. I unfortunately didn't have a chance to meet him during his lifetime. However, the reason I'm making this video is because, certainly I think his work and his life has had a massive influence on what we know and our understanding of the, African art of 52 blocks. Particularly, Brother Fraizer had that understanding of, who he was, as a person of Alkebulan or African descent, and understanding the Montu, right? The African, centeredness of martial arts. And so the ways he's influenced my life specifically really has just been in his works, right? Particularly in his writings, in his books. So what I wanted to do was take a moment here to highlight some of his work, because this is what we do have left of Brother Fraizer. And so I definitely, certainly encourage you guys. And you'll see behind me here the Diallo 52. That's in every video, right? It's just is right there. Obviously his work has had a massive influence, in the 52 block community. And so I think his loss, his passing is a loss that can't be filled, and anytime we lose one of our Alkebulan warriors, for me, we don't have enough warriors, you know what I'm saying? So every warrior that we lose is massive in terms of that loss, especially a brother like, Brother Fraizer, who was a leader within the, Montu, the African martial art community. I don't think that, that will never be replaced, right? But with that, however, I think it's a time for us to kind of certainly, even whether we knew Brother Fraizer or not, I think it's certainly a time for us to definitely take time to study his work, and also think about our own legacy in our own life, because Brother Fraizer left a phenomenal legacy, that we can now follow. He left the blueprint for us. He left his notes, right, which is amazing, right, for us to kind of follow, read, and to apply to our life and to our practice of Alkebulan Montu, African martial arts. And so what I wanted to take the time to do is read a few of the quotes here from his book, Revelations of a Warrior. And I want to start here actually with the opening, which is New Warrior Philosophy, the New Warrior Philosophy. Now, make sure, obviously, as you guys know, please pick up his book on Amazon. I'm pretty sure they're still available, but Both the Revelations of a Warrior as well as 52 Thoughts, Proverbs of a Warrior, and then the Tao of 52. Please pick those up on Amazon. But this is the New Warrior philosophy here. To be a new warrior, we must understand that there is no truth other than which is valid. To find what is valid and what is not valid, you must learn through life experiences, not myths and folk tales of battle. Just as our cheese may differ, so may our interpretation of validity. We are individuals, not clones. So what works for you may not be valid for me. It doesn't mean you are living a lie. It just means that you are living through a different spirit than I. So let your mind be searched by allowing your spirit to be the explorer. To reach this understanding, we must eliminate any status of life that will hold us prisoner of our chosen art, right? And so the philosophy basically is, to experience it for yourself, right? Don't just believe, whatever system or method of training that you come up in. But I do want to read a few other quotes here, again, from Revelations of a Warrior, that really speak to me. I'm just going to read a few here, not going to read everything, but because I do want you all to pick up Brother Fraizer's book, because, again, as I said before, for me personally, I'm taking it upon myself to try to do the best that I can to live out that warrior motto, that warrior mindset, because what I want to do, and the reason I'm here really, is to carry on that work, right? To carry on that work. So the problem with a lot of our movements of people of African descent is when the founders of those movements, when they pass away, right, for whatever reason, right, when they pass away, a lot of our movements have also passed away with them. I want to make sure that 52 Thoughts, 52 Blocks, and the legacy that Brother Fraizer, has left us through his writings, that we don't lose that, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I do what I do in terms of teaching and demonstrating, showing, and talking about and promoting Alkebulan Montu, right? Afrikan-centered martial arts, okay? All right, so here's a quote here. This part of the book is called Martial Life. It says, every martial warrior is trying to be fluent in the mind as well as the body. First in the mind, because it controls all actions ranging from the physical to the spiritual. When the mind is properly developed, it is the strongest and most dangerous weapon any man can possess. He then talks about complacency. As warriors, we must understand that there is always someone better than we are at one point in time. Okay, and I'm just kind of reading the opening line from a few of these. Okay, this one's titled "The Enslaved Master versus the Free Student." Many martial artists go by the title of "quote unquote" master, and in most cases, these individuals believe they have mastered their chosen way. But in reality, mastery is just an illusion, because no one can ever really master a martial system in his lifetime. This one's about harmony. Harmony is the flow with nature. It is the alpha and omega of life. To flow with harmony is to accept that which is of your spirit and reject that which is not. Spirituality versus science. Some martial artists believe that there is too much mystical reference in the martial arts. These same people believe there is a scientific way to offset any spiritualisms. Others say that martial arts are mystical and that their true essence is in the spiritual realm. The benefits of science and spirit are both valid. Science is the hard, while spirituality is the soft. So it does take both, right? All right, and last one here. There is this one's called "Fear Not Worry," right? There's a Shaolin saying. It goes like this: study as if you can never master the art, and study as if you are in fear of losing it. I get from that to study, study, study. Okay, I'm gonna read a few excerpts here from 52 Thoughts, Warrior Proverbs. First one here is entitled War. When a warrior is faced with injustice, frustration, anger, and poverty, they must strategize on hope, improvement of economics, education, and physical security as methods to attack the enemy. Okay, prowess. A warrior's actions will always express who he is, as well as defeat any lies, jealousy, and false propaganda put out against him. Okay. Prophet. The warrior's mind must consistently challenge his own beliefs. His unique mind must guide the next generation of warriors away from the predictable thinking of a comfortable mindset. So I get from that to never be comfortable, right? And this is the last one here. A warrior's death is only good when new life and progression is the aftermath of his death. Okay, and I didn't plan to read that one. I just happened to turn to that page, and that is that's heavy. You know, that's heavy. It should be heavy for. It's heavy for me. It's heavy for all of us. I feel, because, you know, a warrior's death is only good when new life and progression is the aftermath of his death. And so the question for all of us is, what is that new life, and that what is that progression that we're going to bring forth, that we're going to manifest in our own lives and in our community, you know? So I want us to think about that and really reflect on that. And I want to leave you guys with that as you know, take the time to kind of meditate, right? If you don't know much about Brother Diallo Fraizer, you know, look him up, you know, find out, you know, learn about his life, learn about his understanding and study of the Montu art, 52 blocks, okay? And examine that, compare that to your own life, and understand and figure out how can you now create new life and progression based off of his work. What can you glean from that? Even just the little bit that I read now, what can you glean from that? What can you take, you know, those seeds, right, that are planted in your mind? How can you take that now and manifest something great, you know? Because ultimately that's our calling, really, is to, you know, build, right? Build upon the work of our ancestors, you know, and that's really it, you know. So I just want to leave you guys with that, that moment. You know, just take the time to reflect, and really just it's about application. You know what I mean? You know, we got to take the time to grieve. We got to take the time to mourn. We got to take the time to understand the, you know, our physical loss of this dear brother, you know, whether we knew him or not. But also take the time to not just meditate on that loss, but meditate on how to transform that, right, into that new life, into that progression that he's speaking about.
The purpose of our organization is to start right here in Harlem, which has the largest concentration of people of African descent that exists anywhere on this earth. There are more Africans here in Harlem than exist in any city on the African continent, because that's what you and I are, Africans.